Principles of Fortinet Zero Trust. First, verify. Authenticate and verify on an ongoing basis. Give minimal access. Segment the network to create zones of control. Control access to apps, data, and resources. Give the least privilege access based on the role. It's the principle of the least privilege. Assume that the network is perpetually compromised. Plan as if attackers are already inside and outside of the network. Forget the concept of a trusted zone. For example, trusted zone internal network. Reducing the attack surface. Granular control of the apps. Authenticate, identify per connection. Supporting strong authentication, multi-factor and SSO, single sign-on. Verifying identity per session. Verifying device posture per session. Restricting user access to resources based on need to know. Hiding network apps from the internet. Zero Trust Access Model at Fortinet. Fortinet ZTA. Devices. Endpoint access and control. Users. NAC device access. Network control device access. Networks. Identity management. Workloads, data, visibility and analysis, automation and orchestration. Fortinet ZTNA. User app access control. New secure remote access method replacing VPN. OS version, logged in domains, running processes, and other. Fortinet Fabric Management Center consists of FortiMonitor, FortiAnalyzer, FortiSIEM, FortiSOAR, FortiEDR, and FortiAI. Zero Trust Access Solution consists of FortiAuthenticator, FortiClient, and FortiNAC. FortiClient shares telemetry to Fabric, which includes endpoint security posture and vulnerability status. Dynamic NAC, Dynamic Network Area Control. FortiAuthenticator is the gatekeeper of authorization into Fortinet secured enterprise network, identifying users, querying access permissions from the third-party systems, and communicating the information to the FortiGate devices for use in identity-based policies, credentials, groups, and roles from existing third-party databases to support SSO, single sign-on, and access control. FortiNAC is a security product that implements policy on devices that access networks to increase network visibility, and control aspect of FortiNAC is when device connects to a computer network. It is not permitted access anything unless it complies with network policy. Antivirus protection level, system update level, and configuration. Value of ZTA solution. ZTA is a zero trust access solution. First, Assume that the network is already compromised. A more stringent security posture, therefore, is imposed. User and device identities are continuously verified and monitored. Access to data and apps is based on need to know. It simplifies network management. It ensures that business processes are interrupted less frequently by cyber attacks. SAML, Security Assertion Markup Language, is XML-based standard for transferring identity data between two parties, an identity provider and security provider. It allows user to leverage existing credentials to access a site. CA, Certificate Authority, has two primary functions. First, to issue certificates. Second, to provide trust. Trust ultimately resides on the CA signing key, which signs all of the issued certificates, and the organization that operates CA, Certificate Authority. The root CA is a source of trust within a public key infrastructure PKI system. CA certificate was signed by its own private signing key. It is possible for the root CA to cross-certify with other root CA, thereby trusting one another and each other's certificates. Sub-CA is not the source of trust, but rather one link in a chain of trust. The sub-CA, Sub-Certificate Authority, certificate was signed by superior CA, which could be root CA or another CA, is tasked with producing certificates for persons and devices. Wireless and wired 802.1x PEAP EAP Windows Desktop Authentication, Certificate-based VPN, revoke certificates if device is lost, is OCSP, Zero Touch Certificate Distribution, SCEP, Public Key Infrastructure, PKI, integration with FortiManager to simplify deployment. OSCP, Online Certificate Status Protocol, is an Internet protocol used for obtaining the revocation status of an X.509 version 3 digital certificate. An alternative to OSCP is Certificate Revocation List, CRL, which is a list of revoked certificates in a certificate format. SCEP, the Simple Certificate Enrollment Protocol, is a popular and simple method to enroll for an issue certificate to users and machines, especially in large-scale implementations. PKI, Public Key Infrastructure. It comprises technology and policy for purposes of enrollment, issuance, and management of digital certificates. PKI is generally composed of CA, Certificate Authority, RA, Registration Authority, Directory server, certificate repository, OSCP responder, revocation repository, and entity, certificate holder. Passwordless FIDO2 authentication. Fast Identity Online FIDO is the World Wide Web Consortium W3C designed to the FIDO2 protocol and passwordless authentication method. It combines STAP client to authenticator protocol and web authentication, WebAuthn specification. Web authentication uses public key cryptography. For example, we have on one side our private and public key pair. On other side, we have our public key. And we use FortiAuthenticator, FIDO server A and FIDO FIDO server B. Secure key store is called an authenticator, which stores and guards access to cryptographic keys. An internal authenticator is the computing device, for example, Windows Hello. An external, also known as roaming authenticator, is a device that connects to the computing device. For example, FortiToken 400. Which product category describes FortiAuthenticator? Identity management. Identity management with Fortinet SSO. Identity users and apply identity-based security policy. Collects user identity information. Granular control of network and applications. Allows FortiGate, FortiClient, FortiMail, and FortiCache to apply appropriate policy based on user identity and role. First, Active Directory and Windows. Active Directory, Exchange, polling, Kerberos with NTLM fallback, FortiClient SSO mobility agent, TS and Active Directory collector agents, SAML SSO. Second, generic sources, logging portals and widgets, REST API, syslog, Radius accounting records. FortiAuthenticator. FortiClient. Use cases. For endpoint, IoT, visibility, control and compliance. Secure remote access. Advanced endpoint protection. For advanced endpoint protection, we use EPP, Endpoint Protection Platform. For secure remote access, we use VPN and SSO, single sign-on, and ZTNA. For endpoint IoT visibility, we use Fabric Agent. ATP is Advanced Threat Protection. What problems does FortiClient solve? First, lack of visibility. 63% of companies cannot monitor off network endpoints, and over half cannot determine endpoint compliance. Second, vulnerable endpoints. 99% of vulnerable exploited will be known by security and IT professionals for at least 1 year. And third problem that FortiClient solves is unsuspecting users. 4% of people will check on any phishing campaign. Fabric integrated endpoint security improves endpoint visibility using endpoint telemetry. It improves security posture and vulnerability scanning, improves endpoint visibility. Dynamic access control provides dynamic grouping and supports intent-based segmentation. Proactive protection, ML-based AV, machine learning-based antivirus, sandbox integration, anti-exploit, automated containment, FortiClient, Fabric Agent, endpoint visibility shares endpoint telemetry with the security fabric. EPP, Endpoint Protection Platform, uh, application firewall, anti-malware, anti-exploit, web filtering, CPRL, compact pattern recognition language, advanced threat protection, sandbox integration, secure remote access, SSL, IPsec VPN, and SSO with ZTNA, Fabric Agent for visibility, quarantine, vulnerabilities, and app inventory. Endpoint risk scoring, part of security rating. Application inventory supports Linux, Mac, and Windows. Endpoint events and logs. Logged in users, user avatar, social IDs, online or offline, device information, what is its operating system, correlate multiple MAC addresses. Vulnerability dashboard, software inventory, and security rating.